rig jockeys, I got something interesting for you today. So, we're looking at a 445, 65R, 22.5. This is a very common size for a heavy truck with a heavy front axle. Say like a Super Solo dump truck. You can have this size even on a 3-axle dump truck, maybe even a heavy haul. Sometimes they'll use these on trailers, and sometimes they'll actually use this size on a drop axle, like a lowboy heavy haul. Very interesting thing for you today. So this tire, let's look at it. At first inspection, I don't see anything wrong with it whatsoever. I mean, it looks great. Even the edges are nice and square. We've still got the nubs on the side. It looks like a brand spanking new tire to me. Well, you know what? This tire is about a couple of years old, and I'd say it's probably got less than about 2,500 miles on it, and we've got a hole in it, about yay big, about the size of a dime, from a rock that went through, believe it or not, right between the tread into the skinnier part of the actual tire and poked a hole in it. This was on a steer axle, folks, and you know what? A lot of trucking companies, and you'll see it all the time, you've got these big trucking companies with these $250,000 trucks, and they've got 7 axles, 6, 7 axles sometimes, and they're huge. You know what? What's a $1,400 tire for a $250,000 truck? Just put another one on there. This tire retails right now, folks, for about 1,400 bucks. And you know what? I got this tire for free the other day, and there was 8 other ones just like this. I'm walking back there looking for some low pro tires unrelated to this, and I look over there and I asked the guy, I said, what the heck? What's all them super singles stacked up over there? Are those new? He goes, oh no, that's on our used pile. I said, well, are you selling them? He goes, no, those are junk. And I thought, what? So I look over there and I'm looking all around. I'm looking at the sidewall, looking for a big old blowout or something. And I'm looking at this tire. I'm like, this thing looks like it's brand spanking new. And there's 8 more of them there. And I said, well, what are you doing with these tires? He says, oh, well, we got to have somebody come over here and we pay them to haul them away. And I thought, what? I said, well, what the heck's wrong with it? He says, most of them got a rock or a hole, maybe a screw or something in them. And I'm looking all around, looking here, and I picked a couple of these out, and I saw 2 of them with screws in it, and this one's got a rock. And I said, well, can I have them? He goes, oh, yeah, take them, yeah. He says, you're not, I'm like, what do you want for them? He goes, you can have them for free. So I took them home, and you know what? This is sad, guys. I see these tire companies throw these tires out, and trucking companies throw them out all the time. And they are completely fine. You need to put a patch in them and run them. But you know what? In my mind, this tire is not suitable for a steer axle position anymore. I would not put this in the front, no matter how light or heavy you're running, because if something happens, put yourself in a ditch, cause a rollover, kill somebody, whatever. Run this tire on a trailer. Run it on a drop axle, especially on a heavy haul setup. 75% of the time, that axle's in the upward position. This tire is about 95% tread left. I'm going to show you the little hole that's in this tire real quick. Believe it or not, we're going to patch this tire, and this tire will live out the rest of its life until the tread is gone from natural use. Not going to the landfill. And you know what? I just can't believe that somebody would throw away a $1,400 tire like that because of an intrusion from a rock. Now, most of what it is with tire companies, tire shop, whether it's at the tire shop or on the side of the road, they will say anything bigger than about 1/4 of an inch, we're going to go ahead and throw it away. I can understand that in the sidewall, any part of the sidewall. Sidewall is basically a no-go. But most of the time you're getting it here on the top of the tread, you know, right directly in the middle of the bottom of the tire. Anything bigger than 1/4 inch is a no-go in most people's eyes. But you know what? If we've got holes, you know, 1/2 inch or whatever, they make plugs 2 inches wide, folks. They make those mushroom head plugs. They make the ones where you don't even have to take the rim off. But for these high super pressure, big tolerance tires, you got to dismount the tire and do the plug the right way. I'm going to show you this hole real quick. Let's go ahead and roll it over, see if we can find it. There it is, right there. You see that? Camera in there. It's really not that big. It looks bigger on camera than it really is. But it isn't bad. Most of that is the rubber facing upward and the rock is protruding through there. It's really not that bad a deal. We'll go ahead and look at it from the outside. I mean, it looks like nothing. Honestly, it's unbelievable. So, we're going to go ahead and put a patch in that tire. And we're going to put that on a trailer. And this tire is going to die of natural causes, just like old folks. I see this all the time, and I want to talk to you about something else. We run a lot of old farm trailers that don't haul any type of weight. It's just bulk. We run out of space before we run out of weight. Some of these trucks have got 20-year-old freaking tires on them. And you know what? The tread on them is almost as good as these. How sad is it to throw a tire away, even though it's got to be done, when it's so weather checked that, you know, it's basically a liability? You don't get your money's worth out of tire before it's junk. A lot of guys make the mistake of inflating these old tires to 120 psi. Folks, when you have a tire, it doesn't matter if it's a super single, 11R 22.5, 11R 24.5, whatever it is, even some of the low pro stuff, don't take an old tire that you're questioning and inflate that damn thing to 120 psi, because you will have problems. If it don't blow up in your face, it's going to blow up in the highway. Especially if this is a lot of off-road stuff, or this is a trailer that you use maybe once or twice a year. You don't need to buy brand new tires for the damn thing. Take that tire and air that thing down to about 80, 85 psi. There's no sense in having 120 psi. You're asking for trouble. I see this all the time. These guys are, oh, you got to have them up 120 psi, otherwise that tire is not going to wear right, or it's going to have cupping on it. Bullshit. Run that damn thing at a lower psi and don't have to worry about it blowing up in your face, and that tire will most likely die of natural causes instead of blowing up in your face. But you know what? I'm talking about farm use and occasional use, not, you know, rolling 24/7 from East Coast to West Coast, tires that you need to have on a truck to be reliable. I'm talking about occasional use, farm use only stuff. You don't need to buy brand new virgin tires, and don't be scared about buying recaps and putting them on the drivers. If you're going to lose a tire, put it on the outside. Always put your good stuff on the inside. When you're running tandems, put your brand new tires on the inside, put the one you're not so sure about on the outside, so it's an easy quick change on the side of the road. But I'm going to tell you again, do not take these old tires and think you can put 120 pounds in them, because you will hurt yourself. You'll blow the truck up, you'll blow your face off. It's not pretty. So for all you fellas who don't do any tire work, or don't want to get your hands dirty, or don't know how to change a tire, it's about time you learn. Because you know what? If you run heavy trucks, you're going to have to do something on the side of the road on a weekend when you can't call the tire shop because they're closed. So get yourself some Dollar Tree soap, get good with it, get on Amazon, get yourself some tire irons, and figure it out, because it will save you in the end. So another helpful thing to do is when you're actually doing a repair, I see a lot of shops do this. I physically like to actually put the plug in there and then let the tire sit for maybe even a couple of days before you mount it up. Now, most people, you know, they're in a hurry. They're at the tire shop. The guys at the tire shop, they're going to go ahead and clean it out, prep the hole, put the plug in, and use some type of vulcanizing liquid or some type of rubber cement, glue, whatever it is. Everybody's got their own remedy. And they don't let it sit. I like to let them sit overnight, at least a day or a couple of days. Now, so most of these tires that we prep up at work, I'll go ahead and I'll patch them, and they'll sit there for months before we have to use them. And that gives them plenty of dry time. But you know what? At the tire shop, they're just ram, bam, slam, and they're all about production, and they'll go ahead and glue it, and they'll mount the wheel up, and you'll be back on the road in 20 minutes. I like to give this thing a little bit longer of a dry time before we go ahead and put it back on the road. So that's always a big thing in my mind. A lot of people don't do that, and they don't even think about that. And I know that some of these glues, they dry within 30 minutes. You know what? Let them dry overnight, especially when you put it on thick. Remember that.